Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. Well, I have a balanced rack, all different tiles, but too many high-scoring tiles. I don't have a bingo. How many of these big tiles can I get rid of? I think Powney is good for 30. Well, if it is good, let me play it over here for more points. And not a good pickup. Not a balanced rack, just the one vowel. That was disappointing. Always a risk with 5 random tiles, but having retained A and G, BNNRV is a pretty grim pick. So, what do I have? I could have a play in column 12 onto the Y. I have gravy. Retaining double N, but certainly better than changing. I also have grab in row I. Is there any way of splitting up the duplicate N? Well, if opponent plays an I, then I would have braving. But not only is there only one vowel on my rack, there's also only one vowel on the board, and that could be about to disappear. N not useful in the double-double lane since I already have 2 of them. So, is there anything better than gravy? Well, granny, but that retains B and V, so I'm not sure that is better. Well, opponent provides an I. Okay, so I have braving. And yeah, I'm not seeing anything better. This completely sorts the rack out. Wow, what a pick. Absolutely immense. Surely I am bingoing now. I don't think braving takes an S, and I don't think xyloid does, but there are still bingo lanes on the board. So, do I have anything ending in P? Not particularly likely, but always important to consider. So no. I do have lentigo in rows G and I, and L. Unlikely that all of those will be blocked. And I guess row L is best, because it scores most. A below a triple letter square looks risky in terms of the Z, but nothing goes in front of the V, so not as dangerous as it initially looks. Any play would have to end on that square. So, anything better than lentigo? Well, if it played under BR, it would need to end... Well, it could end IER. No. I think it would have to have the blank as a vowel. So, a tingle, another possibility, but again, that ends underneath the B. Well, there goes the Z. Now, what to do? Do I play lentigo or a tingle in row L? Or do I play above the Z? Let me see what this scores. That's 71. What do I have in row F? And I think it needs to cover OW as well. So glinted ends above the Z. So what if the blank was an A? Elating, a tingle, genital works. Okay, well, let's see what this scores. 80, and that is more. So I also have gelatin in that. No, I don't, because of the positioning of the A. So a tingle, elating, genital, gelatin, and tagline. So I think this is the only one which I have, and I am going with it. Wow, another shocking pickup. Braving got me out of jail before. I'm not sure I'm going to be so lucky with this rack. I have unmew through the E, which certainly would help sort it out. That's a very attractive spot for opponent, whether or not he has a bingo. But he may be attracted by the B of Braving. He could have a 30-point play at the bottom. He is behind. If he doesn't have a bingo, he may wish to keep the board open. Now, if unmew is blocked, I do have Fainum in column 10, which I think takes an S, but I have one. Unmew slightly better because it burns the W. But both F and W are pretty non-bingo-y tiles, and neither of my candidate plays uses both of them. My lead's 60 points, so fairly slender. Still one blank to come. X takes a U and an I after it. Powney nothing, so column 13 not massively useful. But still quite a lot of I's to come. Azo takes an N at the end, which doesn't assist this turn, but may in a subsequent one. Now, opponent taking a while with this play. It's the middle of the month, but I haven't mentioned it yet, that at the beginning of every month, a new Blitz video gets uploaded to Patreon for the exclusive and watching pleasure of the subscribers to this channel. The link is directly below this video, and you can subscribe and support this channel for as little as $1 a month, and in return for that you get access to the entire back catalogue of Blitz videos, which are very exciting instinctual games, very different to the main series of games, but still illustrating many of the common aspects of Scrabble, and they're great fun, and there's always loads of mistakes in them to enjoy. So please do consider subscribing if you don't already, and thanks to those of you who do. And in addition to watching the Blitz games, there's also the opportunity to be my opponent in one of the games on the regular channel, but you're not obliged to. So here we go. Opponent plays a double-double. He takes one spot for unmew. There's another one available. Let me consider this. This is 20. Fainum. 24. 4 more points. What do I fancy more, the F or the W? Well, still 3 S's to come and a blank, and my lead is slender, so I think Fainum introduces too much volatility. Unmew doesn't really offer very much. I am going with this. Well, I draw another S through a U. Wow, I would have sunroofs. That's in slightly the wrong position. Gosh, that is close. Sunroof works. May even be worth playing. Genital takes an S and only an S. So I could play Franz in column 11, keeping OS. Not massively dangerous, but only 24 points. It would be nice to do better with the F. Well, I could play forwards. I think that's good. Might not be, might be just for do. Not good. Great, I can forget about that. I have oof and far. Interesting. And wow, that keeps 4 consonants, so less good, but the score quite good. I have Fons in row I. Yep, that's over 30 points. That's my favourite play so far. Gives nothing away, and it has the best rack lead of the moves I've considered. And that's fairly tucked away, so hopefully will remain available. Certainly row H onto the D, column 8 onto the B or at the top, or look superficially more attractive. Now, the board looking fairly non-bingo-y. Hedia has taken out row L, so all of the bingo lanes, horizontal bingo lanes have gone. Column 14, just a floating G, not massively useful, and U and N of unmu, again, not massively useful. However, my lead is only 30 points, so if opponent does get a bingo down, the tightness of the board may be to my disadvantage, whereas currently it operates in my favour. So anything better than Fons. Flow is good, and Lazo is great. Opponent has, well, not only has he just got an average score, he's taken out bingo lanes, and he's left alone Fons. 36 points, fantastic. Great, I draw the second blank. Can I get a bingo down on this tight board? So, are there any 7-letter lanes ending in I, but that would open up row A, so it's not a great lane. What goes in front of Azon? G. So that's not going to avail anything. Nothing goes in front of Hedia. So no 7-letter lanes of note. Do I have an 8? Now, has opponent created a 7-letter lane? He has not. Card does take an S. But I haven't seen a bingo ending in I or U. So what about U? Do I have a floater through that? I would have the OUS ending. 16 minutes on my clock. Not seeing anything. What about the M? No. What about the G? Gosh, no. So what do I do? This is always painful when you have an amazing rack or you have the blank and candidate bingos, but you're just not seeing any which go. Have I really identified all the lanes? I think so, apart from M something U. M OUS? No, not seeing anything. So, given that I have the blank, I might as well open the board up. There's a good chance I'll bingo. And I think it's better to keep the score rolling along with half bingo scores than fuss around trying to get a playable bingo. I'm going with this. And fantastic. Surely I am bingoing now. No excuses. But is opponent going to get a bingo down first? Well, he's not going to get one down with a blank. I lead at the moment only 50 points, but if I can get a bingo down before opponent, I shall have a bit of a cushion. So, what do I have beginning with C? Surely something. So, what about the blank as a vowel? Aridus plus a C. Well, this remains available. I have 15 minutes. Surely I have got a bingo beginning or ending in C. Chordites. I think that works. Chordites for 83. Yes, phew. I was just slightly worried that I was confusing it with chordate, which is good but doesn't take an S. Now, pretty good pickup, especially when you have a lead of 100 points. Actually, my lead not as great as I was hoping for. Opponent popped in with a 31-point play. But look at this, I am drawing so well in this game in some respects. I've had some ghastly consonant heavy racks, but I've also had both blanks, and it seems like quite a few S's. There's one on my rack, one in chordites, one in Fons, and one to come. So I've had 2 blanks and 3 S's, and my opponent's had nothing. So it's things are looking good. Now, wow, I could play hunks in column 13 for a big score. H not particularly dangerous in row A. How much does that score? 44 points, pretty good. And it gets rid of junk. Wow, look at this though, 6 E's to come and I would be retaining 2. Maybe there is something better. Well, I have hunker in row M, which takes out the best floater on the board and turns over tiles. And 28 points, pretty good. And the rack leave of ES, a lot better than EE. Do I definitely not have a bingo with this rack? Look, I am so surprised that my time has not gone down more. Normally, because of all the talking, I burn a lot more time than opponent. Not the case in this game. So, hunker for 28. Vly has done nothing to favour opponent or to provide an opportunity for me. And in fact, it increases the merits of hunker. And I draw the final S, so opponent has offended the tile gods in some fashion. He's had a miserable game, and I have had a lot of really good tiles. So can I finish in style with a bingo? I have easiest on my rack. I don't think there's anywhere for that. It'll be painful if braving does take an S, but I don't think it does. And I don't wish to abuse the free challenge rule. So what about U and M? Nothing with the U. What about the M? Well, this rack looks like it does go with an M. Seamiest, I think, is good. That doesn't work. Now, what about the V? Do I have anything with the V? And will opponent open the board up? 7 minutes on his clock, 19 tiles to come, including the Q. Tricky rack for me because it's bingo-y, and I've only got 1 point tiles. But is there a bingo through the V? No, not that I can see. And I've considered U and M. Will opponent create a new bingo lane? Well, he could play through the V and fork the board, creating lanes in row A and column 15. He hasn't done that. Wow, he's done, well, nothing to assist him really, unless he's thinking he's 80 points behind. There are bingo lanes with the G and the V, and he's in the hands of the gods. Well, what to do here? I can't do anything about the V. I can't score with the Z. No extensions for pound. Maybe I should play something dribby at the bottom. What would that look like? Or why not just play... Well, how many T's to come? 3. I could play resto for 24. Let me check the remaining vowels. 13 out of 24. That's not a good play. But I am quite attracted to res for 21, even with vowels. This is even with a vowel heavy bag, this is a good 5-letter set. But I'm only scoring 20 points. I'm burning my S. And I'm only turning over 2 tiles. That doesn't feel optimal. Where can I score more? Well, what about across here? I could play Sire. 19 points, a better rack leave. Yeah, but is there something even better? No, I am, well, there probably is, but I am going with this. Well, I have eatages, nowhere for that. Do I have anything through the G? No, not seeing anything. How about the V? No, not seeing anything there, so 14 tiles to come. I've still got the final S. Opponent doesn't know that, but may guess it from my play of Sire. But he's in a somewhat desperate position. He's 100 points behind. Now J takes an S. So there is a 7-letter lane. Wow, look at that. Opponent does provide a lot of floaters, but I'm not sure my rack is good enough to benefit. And opponent burns the U. Has he got the Q on his rack? Do I have a bingo through the T? Nowhere for eatages. 12 minutes on my clock. Not seeing anything with the U. I could take out these floaters with a Gatto. 9 points, keeping ES. If I draw the Q, there's Chi with the Eye of Cordites, but nowhere else. That could be mighty foolish. Maybe I should leave that alone. Opponent trails by 80. I hope I haven't been overly confident about winning this game. What about playing Gave? Only takes an L. Or, how many vowels to come? 7 out of 16. I could play a Gave and create a selfish hook, given that I have the S. But again, what if I draw the Q? QI. Do I have a second S spot? A second Q spot, rather. Well, I do, because I have cat through the A of a Gave. So I'm not going to be stuck with the Q. I am creating a new lane for my S. And I'm turning over tiles and scoring over 20 points and obstructing the floaters in outlet. I do draw the Q. 5 tiles in the bag. They're not particularly bingo-y, and I think I'm far enough ahead to survive. And if I'd kept, if I'd kept the A, I would have had cat above Cordite. Wow. 2 tiles in the bag. Well, that makes it quite easy, because I can just play a solitary Q, and this isn't a bad 6-letter set. Is there anywhere else for a solitary Q? There is not. So, what do I have here? Do I have anything beginning with an S? And I don't think I do. That wasn't a great pick. So I have Ritters, but no 7-letter lane. Do I have anything through the G? Well, Gritters, but that's in the wrong spot. What about the floaters in outlet? Nothing with the O or the U. How about the T? That looks the best. No. Okay, well, opponent would need to create a lane. What a shame not being able to benefit properly from a gave and go out with a bingo. But I'm not... Well, Terrets is the anagram of Ritters, which also doesn't go. Do I have any EIS words? No. Anything I haven't considered? Well, this has been a tough old game. I am leading fairly comfortably, but it still has felt tough. I've had a lot of good tiles, but on the non-bingo racks, there have been some very unbalanced racks, and I'm thinking about Unmew and Powney, and I think a couple of the others were pretty grim as well. Fortunately, there always was some way of playing through those racks. Now, I have failed to identify any good candidate plays. Is opponent going to play off one tile to keep his bingo prospects alive? He doesn't know for sure that I have the S. Okay, so anything beginning ES? No. So I have no bingo. Just wondering about a 9-letter play with G and E, but that's not going to work with these tiles. So opponent's got 6 tiles. Can he go out in 1? No. So I need to plan an out in 2. I have 9 minutes. What do I have that fits the bill? So what would happen if I played sitter? Opponent would have idea. Okay, so that spot is not going to get taken. I don't think. But it does use both of my vowels. And it didn't score massively either. Does this also set up something for opponent? Well, only AE, which isn't very much. So what about playing Tret in this spot? Then I would keep Sir and J's. I don't think this offers very much. Opponent could only have AE, a 2-letter play in row O. In column 1, he could play date, only 20 points. I'm going with this. And I don't think opponent has got an out, but I may have overlooked one, but it's certainly not going to win the game. Opponent has cat, so maybe I should have blocked that. 30 points. So what's the best I can do with this rack? 19 points for Sir and J's. Yeah. Okay, I'm not seeing anything better than this, so 3 for 19. And the final score, 339 for my opponent, 433 for me, a winning margin of 94 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Great to be back to winning ways, and certainly helped with that plethora of blanks and S's. Now, it was me to go fast, and I played Powney, that looks fine. Gowaney, also nice. Opponent's rack plays Xyloid, which was great because I now have Braving for 26. Interesting, should I have kept the B back to hook it for a play down onto the triple word square? I think not, but it's there as an option. Opponent's rack No bingo, plays Zoe. And now I have a fantastic rack. I4, Gentile. Interesting because of Zol. What do? I play Genital for 80, so 2 points left on the table. Now, opponent's rack. Wow! Amazing bingo. Pierhead, D5. Double through the E of Genital. Amazing. And opponent misses all of those. None of them easy to see. Plays Headier for 44. And now I play Unmew for 20. Fainham, that's the alternative I was considering. Bumps, K8, down from the B. Interesting, 39 points, big score. So is Bumps, rack leave of NNW, 19 points better than FNS. Sorry, is FNS 19 better than NNW? And I would say yes. NNW is horrible. That I would say is between -10 and -15. FNS must be close to being fairly neutral, about 0. Possibly +1. Or maybe +2. And this between -10 and -15. So I think there may be a 17 or 18 difference in value of rack leave, and there's only a 19-point score difference. So I like my play. Opponent's rack plays Umpt. Phew, no missed bingo here. And Fons, that was my play. And I now have a slender lead of about 40 points. Opponent plays Car. Now, did I miss a bingo? No, I didn't. Amazing. Okay, and Boric, that was my play. Opponent's got a nice rack. Look at this. Jovialty for 75. Amazing. Fortunately for me, he didn't see that. Plays Jar. And I have this Dreamboat rack with Cordites playable for 83. Interesting. I stopped after I saw Cordites, but Curdiest, Curtsied, Crudiest, Crudites, and then bingos ending in C. Just the one, Desertic. So a choice of bingos. And also bingos through the G. So that gave me a 100-point lead on a fairly blocked board. Opponent plays Vilai. And now I play Hunker for 28. A8. Suncat. I don't like putting an S in the middle of row A. And Hunker, although 17 points less, retains the S, so even on score and rack leave, these moves aren't that far apart. Opponent's rack, a lot of vowels, plays O. No bingo here, and I struggled because this is a bingo-y rack. And I went with Sire in the end, which isn't far off the pace in terms of score and has a decent rack leave. Opponent's rack, very close to a bingo, plays Outlet. And this is where I play Agave, and was wondering about holding back the A, but I didn't. I think it's going to be a small difference. Well, I still like playing the Agave because it takes the S, and I had the final S, so I think that was the determining point. And I knew I wouldn't be stuck with the Q. Opponent plays Fab, and I play Chi for just 11 points, and I wanted to do that to leave one in the bag, which none of these other plays do. Opponent plays OE. Phew, no missed bingo at the end. I played Tret. Difficult to analyse these games, but score-wise, this isn't a million miles off the top play. Opponent has Cat, could have played Caddy. And finally, I have Sir and Sri for 19. And that's partly the reasoning for playing Tret, having a 19-point play. The other moves which scored more than Tret may not have had a final play as good as that. So that was the end of that. What a game. Absolutely tremendous fun. As mentioned, quite a bizarre game. I had a lot of good tiles and I had a lot of bingos, but my non-bingo Iraqs were quite challenging and really tricky to be sure or to feel that one had come up with a good move. But certainly in the analysis at the end, I think most of the moves did pass muster. So many thanks to my opponent for a good battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.